There exists a future version of yourself you have yet to encounter, one so icy in resolve, so surgically precise in calculation, and so unyieldingly consistent in execution that if you met him today, you wouldn't recognize him. You would feel a chill of unease in his presence, an instinctive reverence mixed with fear. Most people reduce discipline to surface-level rituals, waking at dawn, eating clean, grinding through workouts. They are mistaken. Real discipline is not a habit you cultivate, it is an act of calculated violence directed inward, a merciless strike against your own fragility. It is the raw power to stare down your swirling emotions, your bone-deep fatigue, your endless stream of excuses, and entomb them alive, without hesitation or remorse. Niccolò Machiavelli grasped this truth profoundly. He did not pen his words for saints or the sentimental, he wrote for the cold strategist, the one who seeks to wield power in a world of chaos and betrayal. To hold dominion, you cannot afford softness, predictability, or vulnerability. You must transform into a force of nature, unrelenting, elemental, impossible to sway. When this level of discipline crystallizes within you, admiration from others is the least of it. People grow nervous in your orbit. They sense an irreversible shift, a man who has severed the chains of self-negotiation, who can no longer be swayed by flattery, guilt, or pressure. This terrifies them, because a mind that cannot be fractured from within stands invincible against any external assault. You are here because exhaustion has seeped into your soul. Not mere physical tiredness, but a profound weariness from your own unreliability, from grand promises to yourself that crumble by noon, from watching others surge forward while you remain ensnared in the same exhausting cycle, bursts of motivation crashing into collapse. You crave liberation. You want a mind forged like bulletproof steel. I will guide you there. But hear this clearly, this path is not comforting self-help. It is deliberate self-destruction. We will systematically dismantle the weak, dependent, emotionally volatile fragments of your current self so that the true ruler, the sovereign, can ascend. We will infuse Machiavelli's unforgiving philosophy into the fabric of your daily life. By the journey's end, you will comprehend why being universally liked is a chain that binds you, and why inspiring a quiet, instinctive fear through your unbreakable discipline grants the ultimate freedom. The key is not in accumulation. It is in annihilation, what you are willing to kill off permanently. Most men exist as slaves, to fleeting impulses, to glowing screens, to the fleeting approval of people they secretly disdain. The instant you commit to this path, slavery ends. Sovereignty begins. But sovereignty is never free. It demands a steep price in comfort, relationships, and old identities. Are you prepared to pay it without regret? Phase 1, the discipline of silence, becoming the ghost. Machiavelli warned, everyone sees what you appear to be, few experience what you truly are. The average man overshares relentlessly, he proclaims his ambitions, live-streams his workouts, declares a new era on social media before completing a single day of real effort. He hungers for premature validation, leaking his psychic energy like a sieve. This is precisely why he fails, the pressure escapes before the real work ignites. You must invert this entirely. Cultivate silence as your primary weapon. Become a ghost in your own transformation. True power gestates in the dark, shielded from prying eyes and doubting voices. Cease all announcements. Stop soliciting the world's permission to evolve. The most formidable presence in any room is the one who observes intently, absorbs everything, and reveals nothing. Your silence generates a vacuum, others grow unsettled, projecting their insecurities onto your composure. They speculate, what is he plotting? Why does he no longer crave our attention or approval? Phase 2, Emotional Alchemy, Transmuting Weakness into Gold. The myth persists that highly disciplined individuals are numb robots, impervious to pain, boredom, or despair. False. They feel every thorn acutely, the siren call of the warm bed, the burn of rejection, the crushing temptation to abandon ship. What separates them is refusal, they feel, but they do not yield. Machiavelli asserted that leaders must command emotions rather than be commanded by them. Human beings are swayed by love or fear, never bank on loving the process. At 4 a.m., staring at the ceiling, you will despise it. Passion is a fragile spark, extinguished by the slightest breeze. What endures is colder, more reliable, duty. Discipline is the alchemical art of defying your immediate feelings. You take the heavy lead of reluctance, I don't feel like it, and forge it into the pure gold of relentless action, I did it regardless. When your behavior decouples from your emotional state, you become profoundly unpredictable. Those who would exploit your lows, waiting for sadness, fatigue, or anger to derail you, find no purchase. Phase 2, Emotional Alchemy, Transmuting Weakness into Gold. The myth persists that highly disciplined individuals are numb robots, impervious to pain, boredom, or despair. False. They feel every thorn acutely, the siren call of the warm bed, the burn of rejection, the crushing temptation to abandon ship. What separates them is refusal, they feel, but they do not yield. Machiavelli asserted that leaders must command emotions rather than be commanded by them. Human beings are swayed by love or fear, never bank on loving the process. At 4 a.m., staring at the ceiling, you will despise it. Passion is a fragile spark, extinguished by the slightest breeze. What endures is colder, more reliable, duty. Discipline is the alchemical art of defying your immediate feelings. You take the heavy lead of reluctance, I don't feel like it, and forge it into the pure gold of relentless action, I did it regardless. When your behavior decouples from your emotional state, you become profoundly unpredictable. Those who would exploit your lows, waiting for sadness, fatigue, or anger to derail you, find no purchase. View emotions as transient weather, note the raging storm, then proceed without deviation. Implement the 3-second rule ruthlessly. Alarm blares, count 1, 2, 3, and move. Linger to 4, and the mind's survival instincts kick in, negotiating comfort over conquest. Thinking is execution's greatest saboteur. Train the body to obey instantly. Over months, this rewires your neurology. You evolve from a man who tries, to one who operates as an unbreakable mechanism, output consistent irrespective of input. Internal chaos no longer dictates external results. This is true liberation, untouchable by mood, circumstance, or manipulation. Phase 3, The Weaponization of Isolation, Forging in Solitude. Machiavelli counseled princes to depend solely on what lies within their control, never on the whims of others. Audit your inner circle mercilessly, the 5 people closest to you, are they accelerants or anchors? Do they demand excellence or settle into comfort? Modern life abhors solitude. People drown silence in podcasts, music, texts, endless scrolling, anything to avoid confronting the inner voice whispering truths. You are squandering your potential. Terrifying discipline requires embracing isolation as a forge. You must be willing to sever ties that dilute your mission. This feels brutal because it is. As you ascend, resistance will emerge, not always from hatred, but from discomfort. Your growth becomes a mirror reflecting their inertia. The out-of-shape friend feels judged by your gym results, the aimless one feels attacked by your building empire. They will accuse, you've changed. You're obsessed. You're no longer fun. Embrace the indictment. Fun is the opiate of the mediocre. Become at ease as the antagonist in their narratives. Let them brand you cold, aloof, superior. You do not seek their comprehension, you uphold standards that refuse compromise for their ease. Carve out deliberate retreats, monk mode, deep immersion periods. Lock out the world, silence devices, and confront the void. There, you will battle demons, boredom, restlessness, gnawing doubt. Victory in that private arena grants public aura, a quiet confidence that radiates completeness. Paradoxically, the man who needs no one becomes magnetic, drawing followers precisely because he seeks nothing from them. Phase 4, the power of unpredictability, inspiring quiet fear. Machiavelli's stark advice: it is far safer to be feared than loved, for love is a bond easily broken when self-interest arises, while fear of consequence endures. The undisciplined are transparent, predictable quits under duress, visible complaints, exploitable cracks. Discipline renders you an enigma. Insults land without reaction, met with a pause, then resumed focus. Crises arrive, panic is absent, only calm analysis. Losses strike, no tears, only reconstruction. Manipulators depend on emotional triggers. Remove them, and their power evaporates. Your steady consistency becomes a weapon, daily execution without fanfare or falter, compounding across years. You become inevitable, an immovable force like a glacier, deliberate, silent, crushing obstacles through sheer persistence. Eradicate the craving for sympathy. Conceal struggles, bad days, wounds. Seeking comfort exposes soft targets. Machiavelli would counsel hiding injuries not from shame, but to deny adversaries satisfaction. Maintain posture, expression, and purpose even amid internal firestorms. This is not deception, it is mastery of framing, projecting control until it manifests. Phase 5, the standard of the absolute, rebellion against comfort. Failure stems from negotiable standards, trying, suffices, close enough, is acceptable. Elevate yours to extremes others label insane. We inhabit history's most seductive era, ubiquitous comfort via heat, delivery, entertainment, vices on demand. All engineered to pacify and soften. Discipline here is outright rebellion, a declaration of war on ease. Set non-negotiable benchmarks. Wake at 4 a.m. not for trend, but because the world sleeps while you conquer. Scrutinize details obsessively. Reject temptations that others indulge. Internal mantra: because I am not you. Live it silently, your existence alone indicts surrounding mediocrity. Guard time with draconic ferocity, the sole irreplaceable resource. Be inaccessible, concise, purposeful. Scarcity of your presence elevates its worth. Relentless, near-mechanical execution catapults you beyond the crowded average into elite solitude, where the air is thin, the view vast, and silence profound. Phase 6, the death of the old self, burial and rebirth. The final, most agonizing phase, conducting the funeral for who you were. To birth the intimidating sovereign, you must slay the predecessor, the approval seeker, the ambition apologist, the ghost haunted by old failures and traumas. Machiavelli knew war is inevitable, it can only be delayed to another's gain. You are at war with your former self. Fail to destroy him, and he resurrects to sabotage, whispering concessions when hardship strikes, just one skip. Just today off. This shedding is excruciating, raw exposure as old skin peels. Friends may vanish, partners depart, family misread your evolution. Accept the toll silently, greatness levies taxes. Beyond lies rebirth, a leaner, fiercer iteration governed by logic over emotion, viewing life as a strategic chessboard rather than a chaotic playground. This new self unnerves even you initially, and rightly so. True power always carries an edge of awe. Self-mastery, not tyranny over others, is the pinnacle. Entering rooms with absolute command shifts energy, paths clear instinctively. You carry the gaze of one who has stared into the abyss and emerged victorious. Conquering oneself surpasses conquering cities, as Stoics and Machiavelli alike recognized. Commitment silences lifelong anxiety, the dread of unpreparedness, of self-deception. You fear nothing, not the future, you construct it, not others, none can out-endure you, not failure, merely data. This freedom is cold, often solitary, like the lone wolf surveying the pent herd below, warm, safe, but imprisoned. You choose exposure, hunger, liberty. Machiavelli crafted his masterpiece in exile, tortured, stripped bare, yet birthed immortal truth without needing acclaim. Your discipline is your eternal fortress, untouchable amid any external siege. As the world softens, distracts, and descends into chaos, your hardening becomes supreme advantage. You will unsettle, not through aggression, but by mirroring untapped potential others fear to claim. The path remains frigid, arduous, solitary. Yet if you have absorbed this fully, you stand among the 0.01%, the outliers ready to seize it. Declare it, I choose the cold path. The old self lies buried. Rise now, and forge the unbreakable new.